Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a CATS, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow Podcast.
All right, mystical cats, pay attention. You're going to love this interview today with Janet Rae Orth. Janet, thanks for being on the Big Meow.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're out at Miraval at Tucson, right?
Correct.
It's so gorgeous out there. I used to live out in Tucson. So tell me a little bit about the work you're doing out there.
Well, I do clairvoyant readings at Miraval. I also do some workshops on psychic protection. I also do work with people individually, both over the phone, in groups. I teach workshops across the country. So I'm doing a lot of different things.
Wow. My background also is as an intuitive. And, I think it's so important, especially in the world that we live in today, to have some psychic protection. What do you see going on out there?
Well, I do see a really big increase in anxiety. I mean, I've been doing what I do since the 90s, so I can really see the change in patterns that, it used to be a small percentage of people are anxious. Now I would say almost everybody has some level of anxiety.
Where do you think that's coming from?
I think we live in a very busy culture. I think that, we're getting away, we're moving more and more into urban spaces, not getting into outdoor places and, doing things that help us ground ourselves and help us release. Very few people I see even have hobbies anymore or, activities outside of work. We're very, very focused on what we do from 9 to 5 and, no decompression time, basically.
I hear what you're saying, because when we do have more like mental energy going on, like let's say instead of having some creativity and imagination, if it's just pure mental energy, that does create these feelings of anxiety and just stress and frustration, because we can't just use our will to make things happen in our lives.
Totally. And then what does the body do with that energy? That's, it just kind of keeps going round and round. I think of it like racquetball, just bouncing off the walls. It's bouncing off the walls in our body.
That's a great metaphor.
We don't have an outlet for it.
Absolutely. I notice a difference for myself. Tucson is extremely peaceful. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm out of town. I don't have a lot of street lights. They even talk about how destructive it can be on you to have lights and noise and all these inputs. They really can just interfere with our ability to, calm down and, like you said, get grounded.
Totally. I mean, I used to work in the financial district in San Francisco, and between every floor in those high rises is just cords, about 3 feet just between every floor, just for electronic cords. That's a lot of energy. When I worked in a high rise, I had a very difficult time, even with plants and aquariums and things in my office. I had a very difficult time grounding my space.
And really, even when you consider what's happening with our cell phones as well, the 5G, I know we're not talking about that today, but I'm just, considering we have a lot of invisible frequencies that are out there that I do believe interfere with our ability to just connect to that spaciousness in our mind that's so healing and so restorative.
Totally restorative. And also, we feel like we have to be connected to our devices constantly because they're always with us no matter where we are. So that creates kind of an angst, an internal angst where we just don't go within, have quiet, have silence, feel ourselves, feel our emotions, feel our bodies. It's amazing how many people don't even feel their bodies, and even know, for example, that they're dehydrated or something very simple like that. They don't feel it. We don't check in with ourselves on a regular basis, typically as a culture.
So what would you recommend to one of us cats, all of us coaches, authors, thought leaders, we're in our heads, we're building our business, we're writing books, we're doing a lot of online activities. What kind of self-care do you do, or what would you recommend for all of us?
Honestly, I do a couple different things. One, I do try to get outdoors, even if it's just for a walk outside. I think outdoors, the grounding of the earth is very important. But I also really take time every day, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, to go within, to quiet myself. Everybody can do that differently. Sometimes even just during a walk, we can do that. Or we can journal, kind of our observations or our feelings for the day. But I think it's really important to just take a little bit of time and just feel what's inside and have silence. And because that's when things percolate and come to the surface and our intuition can speak to us. And, we know if we're happy or not happy or need to change course. But, we can go long periods of time without checking in and without realizing that something might need an adjustment.
I had such a strong a meditative practice many years ago, and then I got busy and I moved away from it. Just like full disclosure, it was like I was really into my meditation, and then all of a sudden, like I just stopped doing it. I don't know. I think sometimes like life comes up and we get busy, and then recently I started getting back into it again, and I've noticed a huge difference. It's like
Right.
I sleep better, and it may not be that I'm getting the guidance right in the middle of that 10 or 15-minute meditation. It'll come later in the day, or
It comes later
the
because
next
you've
day.
opened
It's
up
not like direct, like I sit down and
right,
bang, my
right,
guide shows up and has this
right,
big voice and tells me what to do,
right. But you've opened up a space for things to start to come to the surface,
Right.
by slowing down. And, it's really important too. I mean, because like you said, we're all busy. We can all get away from it. Realistically, do we have 45 minutes a day or even 25 minutes a day for this? Most of us don't. But if you consistently can do just 5 or 10 minutes a day, it really makes a difference.
I will tell you that a while back when I was doing it, I noticed that was when all my intuitive channels opened up. I lost a lot of weight, because I think you literally lighten up.
You do,
And so
because
it
the body
raises this
holds things.
frequency. And so it's actually like the best diet out there, even though
Because
you
the
don't
body
realize
holds
that.
things. Yeah, you're really onto something because the body holds on to energy. If we're not processing energy, emotions, et cetera, if we're not letting them go, I kind of think of it like the body files it away. So it creates a space to hold on to it. So if we release that energy, our body releases that energy as well, too. And that's why we feel lighter, have more energy, sleep better. Like you said, you can lose weight. I mean, all kinds of good things come out of it.
Yeah, there is so much power in just that 15 minutes. And I do believe that sometimes we feel like we can't afford to take that time, like that we have too much on our to-do list, especially as women, we're responsible, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, for more people than just ourselves. So
Right.
not only do we have our to-do list, but then we have maybe the to-do list of our children or the to-do list of our parents or of our clients. And we're like, gosh, can I take this luxury? Can I take this little slice of time? And I think that's what came up for me, is like, am I allowed to take this time? Because if you have a lot going on in your day, you have to also give yourself permission to take the time for yourself.
You're totally right. We do give to so many people. That's a typical thing that women do. But I look at it like it's survival in a sense, right? Like we have to give something to ourselves in order to be able to keep giving to other people. Because that's another thing I keep seeing so much of lately is people are just burning out. We can't keep this pace going all the time without, taking some time to replenish ourselves. So, 10, 20 minutes a day, even if I go outside with my dogs for 20 minutes a day, that has made a huge difference for me. And there's science behind this. It changes our brain chemistry, it slows our heart rate, our breathing, the cortisol levels go down. Those cortisol levels are really connected to weight gain. So that makes a huge difference too.
Janet, I love this advice that you're giving us. What would you say to a cat who wants to become more intuitive? Do you have any strategies? Or I know meditation is a big part of it because intuition is just listening, but what else can they do?
Well, one of the biggest ways that I developed my intuition was, well, I don't know if I'd say developed it as much as I would say became very aware of it on a consistent basis to where it's automatic for me now, was I started writing in a journal daily, not the pour out your feelings, what happened in my day, but more the intuitive sort of feelings that I might have during the day. Like if I worked with somebody, that's back in the day when I was an accountant, and they came in one day and they just seemed a little down. I would write that in my journal. So and so seemed down today. Simple kind of feeling observation. I have no facts. I have no reason to know it. I would write things like that down, because a month later, when they share with me, oh, they just found out their mom is sick, and I trace back and I realized that was the day they found out, my feeling was validated. But we have so many feelings in a day. It's like if I said to you right now, like if I said, go like this, are there clouds in the sky? You wouldn't really know, because there's clouds every day. Our feelings are like this too, right? So if I hadn't written that down, I wouldn't remember that a month later. So it kind of brings the intuition so much to the surface all the time with you checking in with it, and it validates it. Now it's so automatic for me. Now I know. And we also have to sort out those voices, because we have a lot of voices. We have the voice of anxiety.
Yeah.
We have the voice of other people telling us what we should do, what our priorities should be, what needs to get done. Then we have our own inner voice, intuition. We've got to find that voice, right? Like, which one is us? So we can put that one first. So again, kind of writing in a journal and bringing it to the surface and getting to know it is really important.
There are two things you said that I think are just dead on, is that we do have all these different voices, and that intuitive voice, I have noticed sometimes it's subtle, it's persistent, but it's not very loud.
Very subtle. Very
And
subtle.
so it kind of comes in from the peripheral, it's not like direct, it's not like right between the eyes, it's like it's very patient. So, I think the invisible realms and the wisdom that comes from there is very patient, it's very loving, it doesn't shout at you, it's subtle. So you also have to invite it in, seek it out, and then the second part, what I really liked that you said, is about trusting and building your relationship with that voice, whether you're jotting down things that you recognize, when intuition, at least for me, when it comes in, it's kind of like this tiny little thread that's sitting over here in the corner. And then as I pull it in, like it opens up and like more information reveals itself, but it's not always just like, boom, here's
That was a
everything.
perfect analogy. And unfortunately, the voices of anxiety and what other people want us to
Right.
do, they're much louder.
They're so noisy.
They scream at us, so they distract us. And that's part of why we need to be quiet, so we can hear the quieter voice inside.
Yeah. Does somebody have to come to Miraval to get a session with you?
No, if you go to my website, janetrayorth.com, you can reach out to me. I work over the phone. I've been doing this over the phone for a long, long time, because if you see me in person, I close my eyes, I'm using my third eye. I ask you to say your name and your age. So that's how I find your energy. So it doesn't matter if you're sitting in front of me or sitting in the next room or, across the world. So yeah, people can call me, connect with me that way, sign up for my newsletter, follow me on Instagram. I write a lot of articles with tips in them about intuition.
I love that. I love that. So what's something that came up for you that you did that really changed everything about your business?
I think the main thing that changed my business, or made it expand and continuously expand, was building my customer base, my relationships with my clients. I build a relationship with my clients. So I've literally had clients that are with me for decades. Because I build that relationship, I build a friendship, I build a trust. I never send out mass emails. I never, if I'm gonna do something with my clients, it's very personalized. And I think that makes a huge difference. Especially because the work that I do is very personal, it's very individualized, it's very one-on-one, it's unique to each person. So each person matters, and I let them know that.
I love
And you've
that.
got to stay top of mind. That's part of why I do reach out to my clients periodically, or, connect with people on LinkedIn and social media and things like that. So, they can see me and they know what I'm doing.
Do you have a life philosophy?
My life philosophy is basically to be kind, to be true to yourself, honestly. And I find that makes the biggest difference in the world. There's a huge ripple effect that we don't always get validated. It doesn't always come back to us, that somebody says, oh, that made a huge difference, that you were kind to me that day, or what you said, or that you took a minute to care. But it really does make a very profound difference, and, like anything else, the few people who share it with you, are very few to let you know that it's impactful, but it really is impactful, especially in today's world.
Absolutely. It is just so incredible that the smallest act of kindness or patience, anything that has that frequency of love,
Yeah.
how profoundly healing, and that can just make such a shift. So what a beautiful reminder for all of us, Janet.
It's been really nice to talk to you.
Yes, thank you for being on the Big Meow.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Big Meow podcast, sponsored by Cats Network. If you liked what you heard, please take a moment to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. You can also join our network filled with positivity and possibility. Visit www.catsnetworking.com to join us and learn more, together with your magical, motivated, and mystical new friends at Cats Network. Let's transform 1 million lives with your message. Are you feeling isolated sitting at home in your PJs? Or perhaps you're tired of the comfy sweatpants with holes in them that are hidden just below the camera? I mean, you could puke at the thought of another day of Zoom meetings and reporting to your BOSS. Do you want freedom from your home office desk or the office cubicle? Do you want freedom from your current career? Or are you frustrated that your online biz dreams are going nowhere? It's all too overwhelming. Where do you start? All the tech, the choices, and your message. Yep, I said your message, your brand, your voice. What is it? Do you even know what that means? Do you need a biz coach but don't want to invest the big bucks? Let's face it, being a solopreneur is lonely, but you don't have to do it alone. And here's a solution. Join Cats Network. Cats Network is a woman-only membership community exclusively available to you, the life coach or executive coach, the author, the thought leader, or the public speaker. If you identify with this list or want to work on adding some of these to your skill set, Cats is the place for you. Check us out at www.catsnetworking.com. That's CATS networking.com. Because let's face it, cats are better together.